Let's just dive right here.
All right.
Are we going? Are we going? Is it-
We are.
Are we? Oh, we are. See what I mean? Exactly what I mean. It's
That's
like,
okay.
where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. That's because my window is minimized. That's why. Anyway, welcome to tonight's show. Sorry, I should say welcome to tonight's conversation. It's not a show we're putting on. It's just a conversation. And it's always a fun conversation as we come up with some pretty amazing things. And honestly, what's the longest? Even when we stop recording, once we've gone like an hour afterwards
After recording,
of,
we've gone a
of
half
just
an hour before
yeah,
recording, an hour after recording, and
yeah,
recorded for another. We've been two
yeah,
and a half hours,
yeah.
three
And this is
hours.
and everything we're talking about, we should be recording it, but it's like no, just we don't want to overwhelm any listeners out
Right.
there. We don't want to. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for coming back. And this is Lori, my lovely sidekick, and she is a psychic medium among other things. I keep forgetting to list
Mhm.
your other things, so you can list those once I'm done with my
Thanks
blurb.
too,
Uh,
maybe.
there's a lot of things. I am
Yeah.
Linda. I am an Akashic Records Journey guide. I don't just read your records, I guide you through there. What else? Yeah, there's a lot of I, I'm yeah, I wear many hats. A lot of them are in the tangible world, but mostly what I love doing is the Akashic journeys. And we almost got a journey with you the other night, but I wasn't prepared, and shame on me for not being prepared. But
Oh
I,
no, I
it just
wasn't.
I think
It was too much. It was just
yeah,
didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
it just wasn't the right time. So
No, Creator will always tell us when it's the right time. Our
yes,
universe
yes,
will always say, here it is. And both of us are feeling a little, and you're not in your fate, your place
my
of
comfort zone. Yeah,
comfort. Yeah. The
yeah,
most comfortable place to do that. Like you're in the place where you want to be, but just not in a comfortable thing to do that. So
yes,
I get it. And then
absolutely.
I was a little bit, my head was spinning from conversations and
You were
I'm
doing a lot
currently
of this, like, oh,
tracking.
okay,
Yes. It was
I
like,
gotta, yeah,
yeah.
and
And I
you just
have a
couldn't
sick
shake it off.
child.
A
Yeah. I have
sick
a sick child
child
that
and
I'm dealing with.
sideways
Yeah.
glance at the phone just in case,
Um,
and yeah.
yeah.
So
So it
we will
wasn't,
be fully prepared next
I'm
time.
thinking probably when you get back home and you're like maybe
Yes.
next week. Yeah.
Yes,
Maybe next week.
absolutely.
Who knows?
Absolutely. So Lori, aside from a psychic medium, you want to tell
Mhm.
everybody what else? Or just give
Oh
them
my
a few
God.
nuggets here and there. Just give them a few nuggets.
So I'm an energy healer. I'm also have my doctor of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. I'm also going to be becoming certified as an herbalist. That's that portion of it. I am an energy healer. I'm an ancestor talker and medicine woman. More people will, in I guess layman's terms, that would be a shaman. But I do a lot of work with the medicines and the energies, and I talk to ancestors. So I go back 13 generations. I do soul retrievals, past life regressions. I do astrology. Also do a medical. I'm a medical intuitive. So I do body scans on people, a lot of energy work. Goodness, I'm an animal lover and communicator. Animals of all kinds. I've communicated with a spider, spiders and ants and all that kind of stuff. So that's just a few things. I can't remember what else I do. Pretty much if
Mhm.
someone says, "Can you do it?" I do palm readings and tea leaf readings, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I actually do. And
Mhm.
pretty much anything you're looking for is in my scope. And it's just because that's just who I am. It just comes so naturally to me.
Mhm.
But I do actually have my formal education in acupuncture. So
Yes. And you were working because you are part of the Mi'kmaq community. What
yes, I
what
am.
was it?
Yeah.
What was it you're working on there? Or
I'm
can we
doing
can we say?
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm doing medicine. I'm doing my medicine woman work, but I'm also doing business and tourism. and helping my community as well. I'm a fire keeper, knowledge keeper, medicine keeper here in my community. I was drummed in as the medicine woman in my one of my communities. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do a lot of energy and medicine work, and medicine can be a number of things. In our community, it has a lot to do with energy and spiritual work, our medicines and plant-based medicines, and I do a lot of land-based teachings and stuff. So,
Hmm. Excellent. That's so
yes.
it's
So,
fascinating. I know I wanna hang out with you like in person and learn all these things, but I don't even know where to start. Don't know where
I,
to start. But
it's
like
so funny.
the first thing I want to do is go on a paranormal investigation because
Oh my
I've never
goodness.
done one on a formal scale.
Well, we'll do that. I think you and I and Clara, oh my gosh,
Kara,
Carla have been talking. Kara, oh my God.
Kara, Kara.
Why am I getting this so mixed up? Kara have been talking about this for a long time, and really,
Hmm.
what I really want to do is get you guys. And her son is a huge paranormal and wants to be an investigator, and my son as well, and get some equipments. And I do have a couple of really good areas to go to and explore.
Hmm.
Definitely activities there, but I'm also trying not to frighten little ones as well.
No, no. And there's certain techniques I'm anxious. Like I said last week, I'm gadget free. I don't like gadgets.
Yeah,
But there's certain techniques that I want to try. Just somebody
yeah.
else is holding the gadget, and I would not be somewhere else. So,
My favorite of all, and I've always said this is the parabolic. But it's really hard to record with parabolic. I love the parabolic for a number of reasons because you're getting a different vibration from elsewhere, but you also can hear if people are talking about you.
yes, I never even thought of that.
So you get
Never.
conversations from all lands.
Yes,
Love
yes,
it.
I
And it's
suppose you
hard,
would.
but it's hard to record those as well because you're the only one hearing them. So I guess the accuracies with the parabolic is a lot. It's not
Hmm.
great because you're really kind of only going unless you have the proper equipment.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I just
There's.
had to.
I'm not going to go into the techniques that I want to try, but
Oh no, it's
um,
okay. I'd love to hear it
yeah,
once we
yeah.
finish. But
Once we get in, then yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, so this has a lot to do. What we're chit chatting about right now has a lot to do with our topic tonight. We're talking about soul contracts. Now,
soul contracts.
here's what I know about soul contracts is um, it's not that we're given, so many tries. We have infinite number of tries to fulfill this contract. So if you decide, not well, if you decide you're going to fight it, or you don't learn those lessons from that contract, then you're destined to do that contract all over again. Some of us aren't so thrilled about that, but it is
Mhm.
what it is. We can't change it. So soul contract is you have a soul tribe. So soul tribe, you get together and it's like, the around the table, you all have this script. Okay, so you're going to be the money launderer, you're going to be the mass
Mhm.
murderer, you're going to
Mhm.
be this, and I'm going to be this, and even though I was your daughter, now I'm going to be your mother, and and so you make contracts with the same energies.
Mhm.
And
That's exactly right. And it's also like people, there's other names for that too. So some other people might know that as group souls. We have the same souls that are around us, like soul mates. And the soul mate can be that's very similar to what you're talking about, the soul tribe. It's within that tribe that you've connected with. And it doesn't necessarily mean that that person's your lover or your husband, wife, what have you. It just means that that person is that mate, that person that you've clung to for a lot of lifetimes.
mhm,
And our I love the way you describe that though. I do that it's like you have a soul tribe and that tribe is like, that's right, you're this, you're this, you're this, that. And
yeah.
we have this depending upon it's really hard to say because like depending upon how you did in your last lifetime, like what did you learn? How far off track did you go? So that's the difference between destiny and
Mhm.
fate. Right, because people get those confused all the time. Yes, we have a contract that we have when we come in here. So if you're an only child, if you're a oldest child, for example,
Hmm.
you don't get a choice as to who your family. You get you to choose your mother and father. The next child will get to choose the mother, the father, and the sibling. So, like, okay, I think I want to be a middle sibling this time around, or what have you. So, their contract's a little different. So, um, we get to choose so much of our contract, but how that happens is kind of up to us because we still
Yes.
have to have free will as human beings,
Yes.
or we just won't do it. But
Hmm.
I'm not saying that every single person, like they, you sign your contract to be a serial killer. That's crazy.
I
But
know. That's a contract I would. I don't know that I want to do that.
no, and there's groups of souls that would choose that, just like a soul tribe. And if you
Hmm.
notice that you have people I'm not going to go into that very much, but just to make an explanation of it, people who do that, the dastardly deeds like that, they are in a different tribe of their own. They're
Hmm.
not going to trickle into the tribe of the people that are spreading love like Mother Teresa and
Hmm.
all of that tribe. They're not going to do that.
Hmm.
But they're going to have that same, and they keep recycling through because there's always history repeating themselves, right?
Hmm.
So that's all
Now,
I'm going to say about that.
now, I already know the answer to this question, but I want to hear your take on it. Can
Yeah,
you break a contract?
you can. Yes, you can.
Okay. See, I was under the impression that you cannot break it. You can
So
change it, but you can't
So
break it.
here's the thing. You can break a contract, but there's consequences to breaking the contract. So when you kind of look at somebody who has, so a broken contract could be somebody that's decided to take their life and put it up to a different notch. So they may have said, I'm going to sell my soul to get where I need to get. That's
Okay.
breaking that original contract. It's not really changing it because it's breaking it because now you're starting a whole entire new life.
Okay.
Okay. If you changed it, you could say, okay, well, I just want to change my contract. So where I have an amount of money or something that I need, but I have to do something in exchange for that. To completely break it, you're walking away. And if you notice the people there's not many people that actually get to break it, but they're the people that they're soulless almost because they did kind of sell their
Yeah.
soul to break their
Yeah.
contract. So you look them, so they may have billions of dollars or they might have infinite knowledge, but they may have sold their soul, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
also,
Yeah.
I actually had a conversation today. I had a client this morning and we had a conversation about um, babies who um, weren't born. And the contract, I said they all sign a contract before they come. And
Mhm.
sometimes that contract means that it's unfortunate that they're not meant to be born. However, that soul is always meant to be born. Just maybe not to myself or not to yourself and so
Yes.
on. Because and that's that it just that at that point in time, it's not meant to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the contract that they sign to be a very small portion. That's also when that happens, and this is going to sound weird to people, but I'm a weirdo anyway, is that you have a certain amount of time on a contract. And say that it ends early. And it's a mistake that it ends early because we're human. So you can't automatically start our heart again. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can, but if you're gone for a certain period of time. So that would be like a contract that would have stopped. For example, let me use me for example. I came here this lifetime. My contract was very like I have a galactic contract. I have a whole bunch of them. I did break a contract that was a kind of a curse, did that. What I want to say though is that my last lifetime was cut short. And I was only 17 years old. I was a drag queen
Mm-hmm.
and I was murdered. But they murdered the wrong person. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not what I was
Okay.
signed up for,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what my spirit, my soul had signed up for. So there was a mistake. And so I came back in the 70s instead of the 50s. So usually our spirits wait a period of time before they come
Mm-hmm.
back, right? Because they have to live out that contract. So I was able to live out another contract really quickly after that had happened. So probably in the late 50s, early 60s was when I was around. And then I came back within 10 years to
Okay.
live this life that I'm in now. Sounds weird, but that
Mm-hmm.
contract was severed by no fault of my own. So my new contract begins. I still have some fulfillment on the old contract. So that could have been something I brought into this lifetime with me to
Mm-hmm.
fulfill. And it, but there's also other things that should have happened in that lifetime that didn't happen that have to happen in this. So that was part of
Mm-hmm.
this contract that I had. But where
Yeah.
that contract was cut so fast, I didn't have time to live that through.
Mm-hmm. And so
Yeah.
uh, when you are coming back, when you are incarnated again, and you have to fulfill that previous contract, do you bring the same guides with you, or can you change your guides?
That's a good question. So before, I love the way you were putting that. So before I come back in here, I go through that contract again and I say, okay, what is it that I can take from that old contract that I was only 17. So what did I fulfill? Don't know how long that contract was because we also pick, am I going to be short life, long life, whatever, right? Other people may choose us. So like I said, my sister chose me to be their sister, older sister. So I mean, ha 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 to them. But that I didn't get to choose that in my contract. So,
Mm-hmm.
right. So I don't get to choose, unfortunately, how other people feel. So, what in my, so I had to kind of tweak this contract and go, what can I pull out of there that I have to live in this lifetime? So, this lifetime, I'm two spirited or even three or four spirited. So, that's the spirits that are running through my body. It's a very spiritual thing. And where I'm attracted to people's spirit.
Oh,
And
can
I
I just
love, yep,
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna. So for those of you listening that don't understand what two-spirited or three-spirited is, can you give them
sure.
a definition?
Okay. So there's two spirited is an indigenous word or native word that was created back in like 1980s. And it's to encompasses people who have the male spirit and the female spirit kind of running through their body. They're the ones that encompass like both the male and the female characteristics, both male and female beings. They are one body. They are usually attracted to people who have a spirit. So basically, I could be attracted to male, female, transgender, pansexual, people, demisexual, those kind of things, people who have. But on the other issue of it, the way it becomes an indigenous word is that there's three spirited and four spirited. And that just also means that I have animal spirit, I have tree spirit, I have different kind of spirits running through my body. It means that I possess those things. So when I look at the world, I look at it through the eyes of whatever lens is open at that time. So,
Okay,
okay, I don't know if that makes any sense.
it does.
It's
It does.
yeah. And
So
for a long time,
if I was to bracket that in
yes,
one tiny little phrase, and I'm not going to diminish anything that you just said, love the one you're with.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I walk the world. I walk the worlds, the two worlds, the
Okay.
world between this world. So that's how I've always defined it. That's my biggest definition is basically a spirit walker. So I walk the world between the spirit world. So two spirited, walking the spirit in this world and the spirit in the other world. That's the way I like to explain it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
when we're putting other labels onto it, it becomes something completely different.
Yes, yes, and we're seeing a lot of those labels, and it's actually angering a lot of people, and it
It
shouldn't.
is. I think that two spirit is something that should only be used by Indigenous people because that's kind of a spiritual part of ourselves as well. Three spirited and four spirited, there's not a lot of people that know what that actually means,
Yeah.
but to have those spirits, like, and also could be double male, double female. Like I have a
Hmm.
female, male, and animal spirit running through me, but then my fourth spirit that's also through me is I draw androgynous, if that makes any sense. So it has no,
Hmm.
like, no, it doesn't identify with anything.
Mm.
That's just spirit.
Hmm. Okay.
So weird,
So
weirdo.
there's
Okay, so
so back to
that
soul contracts.
right. So when I signed my contract to come here, that was the part of the contract that I didn't live out of my last life. So that would have been the part of the drag queen part of it. And I know I've done the research in my own mind in my own days and others to help me with the research on that lifetime, although it was really short. So when I came in here, now I have to fulfill certain portions of that and sign a whole new contract coming here. Our contracts are they're not really cut and dry. They do leave a lot of things for us to do. So, like, there's a lot of free will, as I would call it, in there. But there's also a lot of things that aren't free will.
Hmm.
So, um,
Yes.
you said you didn't think that you could break a contract. What was that? Why is that?
Mm, I think that because you have to fulfill it to the end, whether you are fulfilling it to the best of your ability, or I mean, using your free spirit,
Agreed.
free will
Yeah,
to, if you, we have a birthday and a death day. Okay, and
exactly.
in those two days, those this is your contract. So
Hmm.
whatever you do, I mean, you can serpentine and you could do whatever. I don't know if you're familiar with that
Yeah.
serpentine. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, it's a funny movie. Anyway, and so you can deviate from your lesson right up until the end day. Now,
Exactly.
here. Oh, sorry. What was your question?
Well, my question is, I just want to hear you talk. That's all. I just
Oh,
want to hear. I just want to hear your take on it. That's all.
okay. So here's another question.
Mhm.
Now, when it comes to the end day, your death day,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
some people call it your graduation day.
Mhm.
I just say, you're moving on, you're going home. Um,
Mhm.
there's different ways to put it. If you're going home, it means you very happily and very successfully filled that whole contract and met the people that you were supposed to be in touch with. Anyway,
Yeah.
when it comes to
Mhm.
the end, the day that you're supposed to leave, and you say, you know what? I love this. I know I'm supposed to die today, but it's not happening. And so if you put it off and put it off and put it off that death day, and you keep increasing the time, this is something that I'm just aware of. I've not heard this from it. I didn't read it. This is just something
Mhm.
that I'm aware of.
Mhm.
The longer you put it off, the more violent your death.
That's 100% correct. And me
Okay.
being a death, so I do a lot of work with death, and that's one of my specialties is death and dying, death ceremony, grief ceremony. People will call us doulas, but
Hmm.
that's that's the way that other people know it. Like I will use words like shaman and doula. That's not how I know it, but that's
Yeah.
how people would interpret that, right? So, and that's what happens when we are there before our death day. We are given, in some cases, a an extension of our contract for a
Hmm.
couple of weeks or even a couple of months. Some people who've had a born again life experience, maybe they're given another year and a half. I had a spirit today that had a year and a half extra on her contract. But when
Hmm.
her contract was up at the end, she just went into the hospital. She unfortunately died a very, very violent death. Not saying as a warning to anybody, but it was a year. And she always said, I'm on borrowed time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind
Yes.
of you, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what the borrowed time is like there's two ways you could look at this. And I've seen a whole bunch of contracts with people. Sometimes I go and visit their contracts, and visit what their spirits are saying. So one of like for her contract, she's already on the other side, by the way. So she
Mm-hmm.
passed away 5 years ago. And she was supposed to have passed away 7 years, like 2 years before that. She got two
Mm-hmm.
extra years. What she did was she borrowed against her next contract.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So
I never even thought of that. Yes.
right. So you can do that. However, that takes your other contract short 20 years or whatever that might be. So it's not exactly, so she might have said, I want 2 extra years on this planet. You have to have a good reason why you want 2 extra years on this planet. Like you have to plead a
Mm-hmm.
case. Your spirit has to do that and say, I want 2 extra years. So what are you going to give to us to get that? So she was like, I will give like time off of my next contract. So you only get one or two chances to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or the other contract, she could say, okay, I want to change my contract that I get extra time. But in that extra time, I want to make amends. So if it was somebody that's had a life full of a lot of heartache and pain or causing a lot of people heartache and pain, they may choose to extend their contract another little while, not necessarily borrow against the other contract, but only add what they have here. So,
I'm just gonna pause for
yep,
just one
yep.
second. Sorry, keep talking.
Oh, I thought you were pausing it.
Yeah, I am gonna pause, but something weird just happened. It's okay. She's done.
I
The,
just,
the
I
the
just,
dog was doing a weird thing.
I just saw that.
Yeah,
So
it
just
was
kind of
just I
doing.
and I don't think she had anything in her mouth.
She didn't
Okay,
have
so
anything in her mold. She's being played with. There's a definitely a spirit lingering in the background there.
yeah, yeah, that
So,
was that was weird. I don't know what she was. Anyway,
don't worry about that. I'll
yeah.
have that conversation with them because it's almost like we're talking about their life or what
Hmm.
have you. We're not exactly talking about their life, but that's what that spirit is telling me. Basically,
Hmm.
and he's playing with the dog, very much a male, very much a loving dog lover. So
Hmm. Okay.
I think that's
Uh,
attached to the person that's there as well.
it's a what?
It's attached to the person that I saw earlier.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's possible. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
What else did I want to ask you? So obviously, the more you put off your death day,
Hmm.
if you are, I don't know, she must have some. Anyway, she's going back down hall. If you are fulfilling your contract and you're easing into everything, and everything is fun, not fun, but you're fulfilling everything, and you come
Hmm.
up to that day, and actually, remember I was telling you about my mentor, and then turned
Hmm.
into one of my guides. She told me about the day. She didn't tell me the day. She, what did you have? She told me the time frame, like within a month of when she was
Hmm.
done. She's saying, "No, I'm done," and she's like, "Do you want to know when I'm gonna die?" And I said, "I don't want to know when you're gonna die. I don't want to know that." And
Hmm.
yeah, she fulfilled her contract and came back, and she fulfilled a contract after by coming back in for 18 months teaching
Exactly.
teaching me about the Akashic records. That's
See?
I didn't
Yeah. And that's
she taught
exactly
me,
it. Yeah.
and
And that's exactly
she
it. Like sometimes they come back to teach us things.
yes.
That's what ancestors do. And that's how I get a lot of, I'm able to do ceremony because most of my, not most of them, but a lot of my ceremony come from the elders on the other side. And people who were trained under those elders will know that I've been trained by those elders
Mm-hmm.
on one side. Because like I'll say like I have this knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and somebody asked me to do a water ceremony for them. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, I will do the water ceremony. I have the knowledge. I have the knowledge to do it, but I don't have an actual elder that taught me
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge. And she goes, Lori, we all know where your knowledge comes from. It's the people on the other side. It's the ancestors. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. But just so you know,
Mm-hmm.
when somebody asks me, I'm going to give them the name of my elder, and they've already passed away.
Yeah.
And like,
So
yeah.
I will say with all my heart, 100%, 1,000%, I know for a fact that this woman is part of my tribe because the
Hmm.
first time I heard her voice, I thought I need to talk to her. I need to.
Yep.
I was so drawn to talking with her. I messaged her in the Facebook group because we listen to the same radio show. I messaged
Hmm.
her. I didn't message her. I just said in the chat, "Hey, if you need somebody to travel with, give me a call." And she
Mm.
messaged me back. She's like, "What's your phone number?"
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
really? and and that night after the show was over, she called me, and
Mm.
it wasn't like a hi, how you doing? My name is blah blah blah. It was a 5 hour conversation, and within 6 months, she was gifting, not just,
Mm.
here, you take it. I don't need it anymore. She was gifting it to me. Just 1 second here.
Mm.
Okay, and we're back. We had a little puppy emergency.
Little puppy
One,
drama.
one, one puppy likes to play with odd things, and the other puppy,
Couldn't care less.
he likes to, he sees his reflection and barks at it because he's the tough guy.
He's,
What was I saying? Who was
she
talking
gifted
last?
you something.
Oh
You
yes,
were
she
talking.
gifted me. She gifted me her energy. And
Hmm.
is there another one? Oh dear. Uh, the one night I was talking to her on the phone, and I'm just gonna pause here for a quick second here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, another small puppy emergency. It was tiny. It's tiny. It's just a
Hmm.
puppy. Anyway,
Pays some
so
attention.
so I'm talking to her on the phone, and all of a sudden, I see going across my ceiling, like from this wall to this wall, an orb. It must have been about this big around, but it was going
Hmm.
so fast. It was kind of shaped like a crescent moon, and it went so fast, and I saw it clear as anything, and took my breath away. I'm like, "You're not gonna believe what I just saw." And she's like, "Get your phone out, start recording, start videotaping stuff." And I said, "Well, it's gone. I don't know where it is. It's gone." And I'm getting severe goosebumps down my back right now. Anyway, and so we're talking about this, and she's what was it? Oh yeah. So we're talking about the orbs and all this stuff, and traveling, and all this fun stuff. Anyway, just on the other side of the coffee table from me, I saw this like orange and gold and brown swirling vortex of beautiful light and twinkling, like it was just absolute. And there was orbs going in, and it was shaped like a pyramid, and it just kept going around and around, like something you would see on a movie, like the
Mm.
spinning, but it wasn't going fast. And I'm telling you, it was so close. I could have reached out and put my hand in it. It was that close to me. And I'm trying to describe to her what I'm seeing. And then she stopped and said, "You know what? That's me coming to visit you." And I said, "No, you're on the phone. You're in Georgia right now." And she's like, "No, that's me. That's my energy coming to you."
Mm.
Anyway,
That's beautiful.
that was and and strange thing was, after I got off the phone, that was the night where we were listening to the radio show with Robert Wagner, and about astral traveling. And as soon as I got off the phone with her, I read his book like within an hour. Like, wow, this is fascinating stuff. Anyway, I slept for 2 hours and I woke up at midnight and I listened to the entire show. It was absolutely fascinating show. And when I woke up, I was angry. I was instantly angry. I thought, how dare you come into my home? And I was so angry with this woman. How dare you come in here without my permission? And just and for the next 2 weeks, I couldn't even talk to her. I couldn't do anything. No contact with her for 2 whole weeks. And it was just every emotion you can imagine came, like it just hit me like a freight train. I was crying, I was laughing, I was angry, I was just lashing out at everybody. And then one day she says to me, this would have been a Friday evening. She's like, "Hey, we need to talk." And I said, "Yes, we do. Yes, absolutely." And in my heart,
Um,
I'm just totally missing her.
your, I just, I just realized your microphone is off.
No, is it?
Yeah,
No, you can't hear
it
me at
is.
all?
I can hear you, but it's telling me it on the bottom that there's an X through your microphone.
Okay. No, I'm seeing the
Okay.
audio. Anyway, and you know what? This has happened before when I was trying to tell the story where it doesn't record. Um, anyway, so she messages me on the Friday saying, "Hey, we need to talk." And and my heart was just breaking. I thought, I miss her so much. It's been 2 weeks and I'm just dying. I need to speak with her. And so I messaged her back and I said, "Well, I'm at work. I have to work somewhere in London at the home show and I'm off on Sunday. So let's get together on Sunday." And you know what? Sunday morning, I opened up my social media and somebody in our group, said that she had passed away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, said that she had passed away Saturday night. And so I never ever did get to finish that conversation. But I'm telling you, a week later, she was on my back. Like, I don't want to say any quotes. She was on my back. She was my
Mm.
guide. She was fulfilling her contract to me. And the best thing was she kept saying that she's only here in this timeline to start collecting her people to hang out with her on her ship. Hey, let's go for a ride on my ship. Well,
Right.
she took me for a ride. She'd show up one night and say, "Where do you want to go tonight?" Like, "Let's go to Egypt. Let's go to a pyramid. Let's go here. Let's go there." I took her to an igloo
Mm.
and she cursed and swore at me. She's like, I don't like the snow. I'm a southern girl. I don't like being in the snow. And I'm like, "Well, you made it my choice, so we're gonna go to an igloo, and I need you to prove to me that the Akashic library is everywhere. It's not just this corner of the ethers. It is everywhere, and and your soul is omnipresent. It's everywhere. Can be omnipresent. I know we say that about God, but we are God. That's my thought. Anyway, so that's why I say you can change your guides. And I think we touched on that earlier anyway. I don't know how I
Yeah,
got
I
on
was just
that
gonna.
tangent, but yes.
Well, we were talking about breaking the contracts.
Oh, breaking the
But
contract, yes.
I was thinking I was going to come back to the whole guide thing as well, because we can choose our guides. So a lot of times our guides are with us through multiple lifetimes that we have had. So it was our turn to be on the planet this time around. So
Hmm.
we have some of our guides that, whether they're an animal guide or they're a human spirit guide or an angel guide or an alien guide or whatever that is, that they have a contract as well. Everybody has a contract. There has to
Hmm.
be some accountability. And that's all a contract is our accountability. That we're not just going to go and wreak havoc everywhere.
Hmm.
We're not just going to like live forever, because living forever isn't all that it's cracked up to be.
Yeah.
Souls and spirits, they're infinite. But We do choose those. So this time around, when I got my contract, I'm like, okay, so I went that. Or you look at them and go, so who needs to fulfill the rest of their contract? And they may only be a guide for a short period of time, because that's the other way that you can actually conclude your contract. So you can say, all right, I want to go become a completely separate guide to somebody completely different for a number of years. Maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's
Hmm.
a child's lifetime, or you help guide them. And that's helping to fulfill the rest of the contract that you may not have lived through before, um, or that you signed up for from before. There's also something we talk a lot about in lifetime called karma. We have good
Yes.
karma, bad karma. We have dharma, which is like the duties of stuff. So that's where kind of karma comes from, our contracts, our soul contracts. It's attached to that. So we accumulate good karma and bad karma. We accumulate those karmas that work. If you're constantly nice to everybody and you're constantly doing everything for everybody else, that doesn't necessarily mean you have good karma. It
No.
doesn't necessarily mean that that's part of your, that may be part of your soul contract, but that's part of your own being as well. Right. So that's part of the contract that you might have accumulated bad karma for doing that, actually, because you're not worried about yourself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's a real fine line. So that's a word that everyone throws around. I got good karma, I got bad karma. It's okay for a good person to, like, for a person who's a good person, and a good person meaning like they live their life without trying to harm anybody. That's a good person.
Hmm.
Now, when they say that, it also is twofold. It's also without trying to harm yourself, mind, body, spirit, right, and beyond. So that's part of that soul contract as well, is your karma. So when you think about it and you say, well, I don't want to get bad karma from that, you may not get bad karma from that. That might actually be part of your good karma. I had a
Hmm.
friend the other day that was like, I'm so mad. Like, I can't do this because it's bad karma. And I was like, you've already got enough karmic points that you've accumulated, that if there's something that you want to do, like if you really can dislike somebody, you don't always have to like somebody. You can dislike them. They can hurt you, and you can tell them, you hurt me. That's not bad karma. You know what I'm
No.
saying? So I just kind
No.
of went off a little bit of track there, but I wanted to talk about good karma, bad karma, because that's part of our soul contract too.
Yeah.
We already come in with good karma. Every one of us. We all come in with that. And we all come in with um, you know, that part of us. It's like, okay, well, we can be a good person and still have some bad karma as well. And that's other things that maybe we didn't fulfill in our last contract that we're not willing to fulfill in this contract. Maybe those are things that we were supposed to do, but because of somebody else, we didn't do it, or because what we thought of somebody else, that becomes bad karma.
Yeah. Yes.
It sort of crosses those. And that goes hand in hand with our soul contracts.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted to talk about there's different kinds of soul. There's so many things we could talk about with this soul contract topic, but there's contracts that, like, we may not have that's where we get past lives from. Okay.
Yeah.
So some things that we may be afraid of sharks in this lifetime, and deathly afraid of sharks in this lifetime. And it's probably because we didn't fulfill our entire contract 5 lifetimes ago. So we still have that little piece left to fulfill. That contract's not done yet. So it's triggered into this one. And so we have to go back into the past lifetime to correct that past contract. So usually I have a mantra or a saying that I always say when I'm going into my state of other being, I guess you want to say. And I always say, break any contracts that need to be solved. Please let them be solved. Please let me go away from any ill will, like I talk about my contracts there. Anything that's meant to be left in that contract, let it be left. any contracts need to be broken and to give back all my power to that I've taken from somebody and take back all the power that they have from me, severing all contracts between me and that person. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I had to do that. There was actually a person that I had to do that with that was still holding something over me from a contract that we had had together because we have
Mm.
personal contracts as well. It's not just our sole contract. We have contracts with other people or
And
cords, if you want to call them. And
yes,
so
and
that's a whole different topic.
some of our critters, some of our pets. Like
So,
this one woman told me that, well, the dog where I am right now, one of the dogs,
mhm.
I have a contract with her. I'm
Yes.
supposed to at some point save her life.
Yep. And you may
And
have
again,
already done that.
mhm. I
Whatever spirits you may have been in before, you might
yeah,
have done
yes, yeah.
because she's grateful to you for saving her life. And it's saving, yeah. We don't like I can hear people now when they're listening to this, they're like, they probably have a lot of questions about soul contracts. But I know one of the questions I would have if I was listening to us talking, I would be like, okay, so you mean I choose to be murdered, or I choose to do this, or I choose to do that. And that's not what I'm saying.
No,
Sometimes in our like, because that would be a question that I would actually have. Well, what is she talking about? She says we have that choice, that we choose this terrible, terrible life. We don't choose that. What we choose is a contract that we kind of write sometimes as we go. We also have karma that we have to we have points in our karma system, karma that we may have used it all up in the last lifetime. We're starting fresh in this one. There's contracts between other people that have to be fulfilled. There's a lot that's going on. And then there's our free will. So
yes.
it's not that we choose that. And we also didn't choose to have those bad things happen to us. Those are
Hmm.
things that happen in because it's unfortunate that there has to be things that happen in this lifetime in order for us to learn lessons, in order for us to learn how to live in this planet and make this planet better or worse, like,
Hmm.
or to teach somebody else a lesson. So I don't
Hmm.
want to make light of that. Like, I know people like this is what I would be going through, going, oh my God, so you told me that I deserved in one of my lifetimes, I deserved to be shot when I was a drag queen. So that was
Yeah,
my contract. I
I
deserved
deserve.
that.
Yeah, yeah. No,
No, I
it's
didn't.
not. It's
I didn't.
you know what you deserve. Uh, you deserve. Everybody deserves love. Everybody deserves abundance. Everybody deserves
Right.
to
And
be
and
free will, and you deserve to
right.
be who you want to be. It's not
And we
that you
get
deserve
that.
to be shot. That's
Right.
punishment. And
That's it.
when you think about
And that
yeah, we
had
don't get
nothing to do with
punished.
me.
Yeah,
Right. And we had nothing to do with me. And it
yeah,
had nothing to do with my karma. It had nothing to do with my contract. It had to do with somebody else's contract.
correct. Yes,
So, and my
absolutely.
spirit may have never ever met that spirit ever
Yeah.
before, but now they have a contract to make that up to me for infinite lifetimes or other lifetimes,
Yes.
right? Because they did something. So that's kind of where I want to go with that is that we may not always choose to have we don't choose to have the bad things happen to us, or we look at our life and go, well, that was pretty crappy. We had that thing happen, or
Yes.
whatever happened in our past. Like, we don't deserve that, and that's not something we chose. It's not, and that may be a bit blip in our contract.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that could be also where you change your contract and say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I want to change it now. I think I've had enough
Mm-hmm.
suffering for this lifetime.
Yes.
Also, if you had a lifetime before where everything came to you very easily, you were kind of nasty and mean to people because you're so rich, da da da, that reflects in this lifetime too,
Yes. It does. Yes,
unfortunately.
it does. So, I'm just looking at the time here, and I don't want to
Yep.
go too long today. Um, so for those of you that are still saying, "Wow, that's a lot to take in," um, if you feel that your contract is not really what you want, and you want help to ease into, from here on to the end of your contract,
Mhm.
give Lori a call. I mean, I can do the Akashic journeys, and we can go in and we can identify things. I
Mhm.
don't consider myself a healer. I go in and we can identify certain things. And I leave it up to you to find that healing that you need. I don't go in and wave a magic wand or anything. But
Yeah.
you can help guide them to their healing part of it.
Absolutely. I do a lot of healing. I do a lot of ancestral healing and
Hmm.
healing of spirits. So I can definitely take a look at your contracts, I guess, and
Hmm.
figure out where I've broken some of my contracts from past lives that have happened,
Hmm.
some black magic contracts, some
Hmm.
other like voodoo contracts that I had. Those have all been broken. And then I can help you break them between certain people. Like we can take a look at those contracts and see what's happening there. And that's just like a
Hmm.
past life regression, or what I like to call them soul retrievals here as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
When we have different parts of our soul that we just want to get back.
Yeah.
And someday I'll tell the viewers that, or the listeners, that the story that I told you about me when I was like 2.5 years old, and I have had to go back to retrieve that piece of my soul. And it was
Mm.
just a very traumatic experience for me to do that, and traumatic for my soul. But that was part of my contract. And I had to go back and like rewrite that contract or look at that contract. So it's
Hmm.
really, contracts are very interesting. Um, yeah.
Hmm.
And you gotta be careful who
Okay.
you send them. All right. So yeah,
Yes.
we could definitely do that. We could take a look. We could go back and do some soul retrieval, which is going back to this lifetime. Past life is going back to past lifetimes.
Hmm.
And then we can take a look and see where we can tweak it and what we can heal. That's the whole point. It's what we can heal. It's
Yes.
not about
Yes.
changing it. It's about healing it. Because you can't change the past, but you can change how you felt about the past, or you can change the way you look at it to
Yes.
help your healing.
Yes.
It's all about you healing. It's not about healing because of somebody else. Like I always say, live my life for my kid, but that's not really the best way to be, right? It's healing for me so I can be
Hmm.
the best me, to be the best person for my child,
Hmm.
just the best person for somebody else.
Yes. Okay. I think
Okay.
I think we covered a lot of ground.
We sure
I
did.
know,
That
I
was a
know,
good
and
one.
again, I mean, we could talk for
Oh yeah. And we could talk
infinite.
different. We were just talking about, like, when we talked with the lucid dreamings, we could talk with that one for like hours into
I
different
know,
things.
I
For this one,
know.
like, we could go into
Yes.
soul, we could go into astrological contracts, we
Hmm.
can go
Hmm.
into, because we could go into like galactic contracts. We could also go,
Yes.
like, there's so many pieces
So
of our
many.
spirit and our soul and our guide contract, because we just
Hmm.
touched on the guides as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And so for the if anybody's stayed with us for this long, if you have a topic that you want us to chit chat about, drop us a comment down below. And please do us a giant favor. Will you please share this video? Will you please like, subscribe? We need some subscribers. We need to get the algorithms moving and grooving here, so that we can talk more. And it's not like interviewing. This is a fun conversation. I love doing this.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to come to somebody, like, even to someone's tribe, to walk in, to help with someone's tribe, to walk
Yeah.
into their,
Yes.
to be able to see them in person and walk in. That's a big thing that I do, is
Hmm.
I do a lot of house calls, I guess. I'm
Yeah.
actually doing one tomorrow. I'm doing a group reading tomorrow. So
Hmm.
I do a lot of things like that.
Yes.
So it should be
Okay.
interesting.
So until next week, I will wish you a happy week, happy, successful, abundant week, full of all the good stuff, all the
All
good stuff,
goodness.
all the
Happy
good
first
stuff.
week of March. We'll be
Happy
back
first week.
next week probably with a couple predictions for March and then
Yes.
some.
Yes. Yes. All right. Bye now.
Yeah. We'll talk later. Bye.